Hare Krishna. To understand God philosophically, focus on definition, not on depiction. Many people who live in a culture permeated with images of God often get the question, where did God come from? When questions like this come to them from within or from without, they are unequipped to answer. Is God a historical figure? Is God an imaginary figure? Now, actually speaking, the question where did God come from is an incoherent question. It is like a question saying, why is a circle circular? The very definition of a circle is that it is circular. To ask a question, why is a circle circular, is to expose one's ignorance of what a circle means. Similarly, to understand God and to understand the incoherence of the question who created God, we need to understand the definition of God. There is a depiction of God which we see in the popular culture. Now some of it may be accurate, some of it may be completely off in the sense of not being according to scriptural revelation. But even if it is according to scriptural revelation, still, because God is infinite, any depiction of Him in this finite world is going to be finite, and in that sense it's not going to be a full depiction of God. So we can't understand God simply by His depictions. So to understand God philosophically, we have to begin with the definition. And the definition of God is that He is the cause of all causes. He is the being who is the basis of all being. He is the existence that makes all existence possible. When we understand this foundational definition of God, then we can move forward and further understand, okay, if God is the cause of all causes, how can He be depicted like this? And then we understand that the Gita answers our question, that God has multiple manifestations and He is present as the all-pervading absolute truth, the ground of all being, and He also manifests as an all-attractive, all-loving Supreme Person. So Krishna is that all-attractive, all-loving Supreme Person. But to appreciate Krishna properly, it's important that we begin with the definition of God as the cause of all causes. And the Bhagavad-gita also tells us that when Krishna descends to this world and performs his pastimes, now at that time there is personal depiction of his pastimes. He acts, he interacts, and thus he depicts his actions. And when we go to a temple, there is iconographic depiction in terms of deities or images. But whichever depiction it is, if we begin with the depiction, we won't understand philosophically. To understand philosophically, we begin with definition. And the Bhagavad-gita says, when we begin with definition and then we come to the depiction will bring attraction to our heart. In 4.9 it states, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam, that my activities and my appearance is divine. Evam yo vetti tattvataha, one who understands it in truth. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti, such a person will not take birth again. Mameti so Arjuna, such a person will attain me. What this means is that the important point to recognize here is that Krishna as God is not, we shouldn't start with the image and think, where did this come from? We have to understand God means the cause of all causes. And that cause of all causes, actually for the reciprocation of love, manifests as an attractive, all-attractive person. And thus when we understand how loving He is, then our love for Him awakens and we become attracted to Him. And thus the Bhagavad-gita says we will attain Him. But to attain Him, we have to at least start our journey towards exploring and understanding Him. And that journey, in order to move forward steadily, to be equipped to answer questions that can come internally or externally, it has to focus on definitions. So to understand God philosophically, focus on definition, not on depiction. Thank you. Hare Krishna.